read this real quick. This is a real short read. This is the second scroll number 2 out of the mind, which is the ego. And remember, like I said, out of this book here, he's changed some things up because in this school, this book was for the Masons, Shrines, Easter Stars, you know what I'm saying? So he might have some words in here that are not in the original print, or they read. It's a different class of classification in the Holy Tablets, because the Holy Tablets is a Sumerian book, you know, the Sumerian script. So just keep that in mind. So lo, children, like the children of God, you know, he says lo Nuwaubians. You know what I'm saying in the Holy Tablet. You know what I'm saying? One of the schools which I, known as Al-Mufti, who is known by many names for the many cloaks I wear, must take you through is the school of the ego. Know ye that this is one of the hardest attributes to destroy. This is the attribute that is carried out mostly by the evil reptilian one, the serpent. Genesis 3:1, John 8:44, and the Noble Quran, chapter 114. If y'all need them verses. It's Genesis 3:1. Genesis 3:1.
Noble Quran 114.
John 8:44. And
love some of your father.
as a matter of fact, what I'm gonna do, this is how you really get your study in. When he gives you these,
yeah,
you're gonna go ahead and read them. I got a Bible left on my phone that I keep on my tablet and my phone, but it's I be in church. So Genesis 3:1 is gonna read as follows. Now the serpent was more supple than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, yea, as God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. That's Genesis 3:1. So he's talking about the evil reptilian ones who possessing this trait of the ego. And then when we go to John chapter 8, verse 44, excuse me. John chapter 8, verse 44. It says, ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father he will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar, and the father of it. And that was Jesus talking, or Yahshua, or Isa, or Emmanuel, or whatever name, Krishna, whatever name you want to go, you know. I don't have a Quran. I gotta find me a Quran app. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, if you, I have to find him. Okay, but this is the attribute that is carried out mostly by the evil reptilian one, the serpent, also known as the dragon, Zu-in, Lucifer. And then he says, go to Isaiah 14:12. I know we should know that one by heart. Oh, how thou father know Lucifer, the son of the one, you know what I'm saying? But I'll read it in this context though.
Just a quick side note. Even though you don't have a Quran,
They got one online?
I'm not really sure. What I usually do is, I don't have any apps per se, but if there's a particular verse, I just Google or type in Quran 114, it'll pull up that verse. You'll just read it.
Right, see, this is a whole chapter. That's why it's just the Quran 114.
Yeah, it'll pull it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll pull it up.
Okay. Let me see if I can.
And that's not Surah 9.
But in the correct
Surah 9.
I don't know, because like I said, I got my Quran, but
that's what
That was
oh yeah.
It says Surah An-Nas.
Yeah. I knew it.
That's 114.
Yeah, 114.
It's always still there. When you came out of college, you was speaking Arabic. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Oh, you got it's still there.
Yeah.
You still know the prayers?
Fatiha.
Yeah. It's still there. It's still there.
Okay. Okay. Well, this is real short then. 114.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it says, say, I seek refuge in the Lord of mankind, the sovereign of mankind, the God of mankind, from the evil of the retreating whisperer, who whispers into the breast of mankind, from among the jinn and mankind. And this is the Sahih International. Somebody was talking about the Sahih International the other day. Students like, why were they still reading it instead of reading the Yusuf Ali version? Yusuf Ali version that was older than never. Wow. But okay. So then it said, getting back to Isaiah 14:12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Or the devil, Revelations 12:9.
Question.
Go ahead.
So, the devil was in heaven. What made him turn that way?
What made the devil turn?
Yeah.
Remember, the devil wanted, in the book of Isaiah, the devil wanted to rule. He wanted the throne of the Most High.
Right.
So he turned because he turned to, and then he was also angry because when man was made higher than him, being that man had agreeable and disagreeable, and he was only one way. You know what I'm saying?
He wasn't created among the 24 elders, right?
Nah.
So he was created
Strictly from the Bible.
Okay.
Nah. From the Bible, nah.
Yeah.
See, if we get into,
Because you got,
and then, see, that's good, because see,
yeah.
I want to make sure I point that out, because
Okay.
from a Christian or from the biblical
Right.
standpoint, no, remember, Lucifer was created from fire.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he was only that particular element, whereas man had earth, wind, water, and fire.
Right.
Think about it like that.
Right.
Man had all of these things, but he didn't. He only existed, according to the Bible, as a fire being.
Right.
And he was mad because man had what was designed or created more than him.
Mm-hmm.
Psalms, I think it says, what is man that thou art mindful of him? But he was made a little lower than the angels, yet crowned with glory above them. You see what I'm saying? I gotta get that song. It's in Psalms though. Now I get that. So from a Christian or from a biblical standpoint, if you're talking to someone and they ask that question, staying strictly in the scriptures,
Right.
you know, he was really wroth or mad because of the decision that God had made man higher than him. You know what I'm saying? And then he wanted the seat of God himself. He wanted to be the head, the HNIC. You know what I'm saying? But Revelations 12:9 goes, and that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So let's talk about their war. And he who is the son of Shakar and Malita, the fallen angel, and that goes back to Genesis 6, 1-6. Because all of these are dealing with the, let's see. 3, 4, then we got 6, 6 for Genesis, dealing with him. And if we go back there, Genesis 6, 1-6, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And God saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and every imagination of the heart, the thoughts of his heart, was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and he grieved him at his heart. So even when someone is like, will say, okay, well, go back to the body parts of God. Y'all remember that one? Like, so God has a heart. God sits on the throne. God says right here He said, and my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh. So God got skin on him. In the Bible. So if you ever run across it, they say, well, God, no, that ain't, you go right to Genesis 6, 1 and 3, it's going to tell you. God said he is also flesh. See, these are the little things that they miss out on when because they just being told things. And they don't go back and even, without even getting into the language on it, just getting a basic understanding from the English.
Right.
You ain't got it right. You ain't even hitting it right. I proceed. He says to reject him and his attributes and let him, his children, and his seed, which goes back to Genesis 3:15. Not into your hearts. Genesis 3:15 is going to hit us with Yep. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So even with that, God is talking in to the devil. You know what I'm saying? Telling him, I'm going to put hate between y'all. It's going to be an ongoing feud or whatever. So for those who say, well, they said for those who you might run across in that school or in that, you know what I'm saying, they say, well, they're all spiritual beings. No, they ain't. The devil got kids down here too. God, you got God's children down here, and you got the devil's children down here. How do you think all these people on earth are? I don't ever, if it was all a spiritual thing, there wouldn't be no need for physical existence. Just by sheer reason. Why would we even be physically here? Why? We would be existing in the state of the Creator. If we are made in the image and after the likeness, we would just be spiritual beings. We wouldn't even have no physical experience, which would change the whole game on the laws of that we will be under naturally. You know what I'm saying? Because physical laws they're different than spiritual laws. You know what I'm saying? And the wind is proof of that. That's all you gotta say. The wind proof of that. You can't see it, but you can show feel it. It operates differently. It's a whole nother set of mechanics of law. I digress. So, for he and his seed would only lead you through the doors of misery. And he said the Holy Tablets, chapter 8, chapter 3. Get a whole tablet. That's HT over there. However, through the orders, you can learn how to burn out the ego. Through the journey of this scroll, I will impart upon your minds the works of the ego. The ego is the self-abrogating aspect of the mind. It is the ego that separates the individual from unity with others and within him or herself. For the ego asserts I-ness.
Read that again.
Read it again. It is the ego that separates the individual from unity with others and within him or herself, for the ego asserts I-ness. So, y'all got all these verses written down?
You was also talking where, this is one of my scriptures I like to use when I'm dealing with Christians, when they say, you know, God is a spirit. I said God was flesh too. And he was here on planet Earth. Genesis 3:8 says that then, I ain't got my glasses on, then the man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord God as he was walking where?
In the garden.
In the garden, in the cool of the day. Right?
And Adam and his wife hid themselves. Yeah, from the presence of the Lord God. Amongst the tree.
That's one of my favorite ones. When I'm dealing with Christians, I shut it down with that right there, and they like twist up like, I said, you want to go some more? Let's go.
But you know what? But you know what? That verse actually confirms two things about God. One, that God is physical, and two, God don't know everything.
God don't know everything.
Because he walked through there, he was looking for him.
That's another one.
How you looking for him? He's everywhere.
Omniscient, omniscient, and omnipresent.
So obviously he ain't everywhere. He said he's specifically in the garden looking for them. Same way when God asked him, he said, he asked Cain, where's my
Where's
brother
your
Abel?
brother? Where's your brother?
Don't you know?
Don't you know him? then you get to the next verse, he said, hold up, you did something, because now his spirit cries out, you know what I'm saying? So, but it took him a minute, because otherwise he wasn't knew.
He still wasn't know. He still didn't know.
He still didn't know at first.
Yeah.
So
That's why I want to expound on something else, man. They say he a jealous God. If you the only one, you know what you jealous of.
Yeah.
right. Now see, now here's the thing about that, even when they hit you with the jealous, like, for God to be jealous, he said right before he says I'm a jealous God. He said, that's the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And what most of the time they will say, most Christians will say that a car can be a god, your job can be a god. It's like that's not what it is. It's a difference between a god and an idol. The Bible makes that clear between a god and an idol. He's saying have no other God, which means that God recognized that there were other beings out here that was just as powerful or more powerful or just as knowledgeable or more knowledgeable than he was. That's just like, that's just like a pastor saying, hey, don't go to such a church. You stay right here. You go across the street now. You stay right here. Don't go over there. You're scared because you go over there and their ministry got something going on that he ain't covering. You're going to become a member over there. Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing on the job. They say you got Jable, you got Technicolor, you got any one of these warehouses. And you be telling them like, man, somebody come in there like, man, look, man, I'm finna go out to Nike, man. Nike, I got on full time at Nike, dude. They started out at 18, so man, when you put the application in?
When did you put the application in?
You gotta go online. Remember last week I kept taking off?
Yeah,
I was trying to do I was doing my interview out there. So I mean, so that's a reality to hit them with. Like they don't get spooked. Just and my suggestion, I always tell them like, read it as though you would read the newspaper or any other book. Just put your faith on hold for a second. And just read it like you would read anything else. Like you were reading your child homework or you were reading a book to your kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? One of them fairy tale stories. You know you don't believe that stuff. Just read it like with an open mind.
Right.
Just read it.
Right.
And you will see it'll jump out at you. It'll be so much stuff that jump out at you. You be like, oh, I ain't never see that at first. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then last night when we was on the call, you had made mention about, you know, how did we, like, what can a brother, like, how much you know about this? What is it, Mosheism, Christism, and Islamism? Well, as you grow in the knowledge, there's so many different ways you can take it, man, because as you grow, things are going to be different. You're going to be well astute now than you was 15 years ago as a Christian.
Exactly.
And 15 years ago as a Muslim, I didn't know anything about Islam. But I can walk and talk with a little brother. We can box a little bit. Certain things I can say to him, you know, that will make him like, oh, I didn't know that. But I just want to throw that out there because it changes so much. As you grow, the knowledge gonna grow within you. And you can take it so many different ways. You just don't get stuck and say, well, I just know this and know that. You know what I mean? Without meaning, I guess.
No, you good.
You go ahead and
see,
that song.
the master said, but he wrote this, he said, which was actually something that Albert Einstein had said about, he said one of the greatest marvels in the world was compound interest, how that just calculates.
Right.
And the master said, you don't understand how much value these books have until later on in life, you got to recall them. And he said, then your knowledge is like a snowball going down here, picks up more snow. You know what I'm saying? Your knowledge accumulates like money at compound interest. It keeps growing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, super smooth. Hey, look, I'm a Christian young teacher.
Wait a minute, hold on.
They let you all work today? Not really, but okay.
Stay for a little bit.
Okay, glad you can make it. Okay. But yeah, when the master teacher was talking about that, and you're right, that's exactly how this information does. So even if you don't get the full understanding, well, what we're doing now, give it about another 4 or 5 years. Or man, if you study some more, give it a couple of months, you're gonna see this information totally different because something would have happened And like, even though we're just re-jolting your memory of this, something's gonna happen where now you're gonna start looking at this in the whole back. Yeah, we just had that class on. Oh, I see what this nigga over there doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, now I can apply this to this situation. I can pull these tools out and dust them off, and I'm gonna use these on this project. You see what I'm saying? Because now it warrants it. You know what I'm saying? The project warrants the use of the tool. Okay. I just said it does. So, but the ego is the greatest obstacle to obtaining peace, for it is that which occupies the mind with whether we are better or worse, possess more or less, and have greater or lesser power than others. The ego is attended by desire, pride, anger, delusion, greed, jealousy, lust, hatred, racism, and leadership. The three principles are in Genesis 3:6, which we had just read there. We just read that. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that was the first one, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also to her husband with her, and they did eat. So it was good, pleasant, and desirous. You know what I'm saying? So that's your 1, 2, 3 right there of ego. You know what I'm saying? Well, it can become ego. You know what I'm saying? So, and he has here 1, good, 2, pleasant, 3, desirous. The ego is the most difficult aspect of the mind to control, like shame. That goes back to Genesis 2:25. Yes. 2:25, which states, and they were both naked, and the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. So that's before they ate. You know what I'm saying? Before they ate that information, realized they were naked. So shame has no boundaries, for its nature is such that it deludes even while one is striving to overcome it. When the ego is subdued, energies can be utilized constructively for personal growth and the service of others. Mind your mind for the jewels of your soul. So, piggybacking on that, and I think I'm going to take this time and pretty much probably the rest of this year just go through the mind. Just pick one scroll and just get tight on everything. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because we have to make sure we're keeping our minds intact. And the reality of it is, one would have to think, why would the message even write the mind book? You know, a lot of us, we messed up in the mind. We insane in the membrane. Just being honest, man. Just being real with
We crazy.
Being crazy. Man, we outsane, not insane. If we were insane, we would be normal. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So we outsane. We're literally out of our minds. You know. So with that being the case, that's what prompted me to question it on the call and say, well, what is everyone good at? Because no one knows more than the collective. Right. We all bring that information together and we share it, and right. That's how the collective grows. Remember, I said he also said that when they come, in order for us to survive this, it's not going to be individuals. They're looking at us as a group. This whole thing, the whole like the Alabama project, was all of them. It wasn't. You got some Mukasu that are friendly. They are of a benevolent nature, but them overall was designed to be jacked up. We was trying to get the disagreeableness out of us, and then, well, with the first ones, and then with the second ones, that was Djah'u doing that just to get back because he was mad. We know the story. You know the story?
No, I'm
gonna touch back on it. So that's where we're at. So that's the reason why I say, well, I'm asking that everyone, you know what I'm saying, bring your ideas, bring your bring your thoughts, bring your highest mind to the table, and let's sit down, let's start actually building as a mastermind. Right. Because everyone's experiences, everyone's skill sets has a place. if we're all part of the all,
Right.
let's say the all, let's say the all in this case is going to represent just the city of Memphis. The city of Memphis is going to be our the all. What part can I contribute to this part? You know what I'm saying? Where do I fit in the grand scheme of things?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All right, so that's on the ego. And then I want to read this part here from Man from Planet Wisdom. And this was a person, because I know it's a lot of stuff. I was reading this on Facebook, and it was some back and forth. It was a lot of it was some of that bickerness of what they do. You know what I'm saying? On family, it's like, hey man, you know, I just feel like y'all gonna do all this bickering back. Man, go into a message. That way, it's not just. Because, you know, people didn't jump. Yeah, but then it's creating more confusion, and it's creating more division or splinters. And one person kept pointing it out, like, man, y'all ain't finna do nothing but create splinters. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, my thing is like this, he said, people are just that. People. You just learn to deal, you know, and just be cool. You know what I'm saying? But, and here he says, the question was asked, just who are you? Asking him. And he said, to understand who and what I am, you will have to first understand who and what you are. And that class begins with understanding your genetics. Did you know in your DNA, your deoxyribonucleic acid, your blueprint of your genetic makeup, you have tiny explosions that go off at different stages in your life. Just like you do as a child, your DNA explodes, letting you automatically know milk and food. How does a child know to lean towards the breast when they are being held in a certain way? How does a child know to reject synthetic milk over breast milk? How does a child learn to cry? How does a child know that crying gets attention and what he or she wants? How does a child know how to smile? I will tell you how. All of these things come to you at a young age. Children learn these things naturally. It is all pre-encoded in your genes. You are naturally infatuated by lights and flashes. We know that. That's why they like, nah, all our got children, put their phone or their tablet, they is in it. You know what I'm saying? They in it. Loud noises and bright colors. So if you dangle bright lights, bright colors in front of a child will stop and gravitate towards the bright colors. If you were to turn on a television, the child would rather look at the commercial instead of a movie that may no longer grab their attention as fast as a commercial. Do a test. If you take out a $100 bill and a shiny dime, you will see that a child leans more towards the shiny coin rather than the $100 bill, which is worth more. That means greed was not encoded in your genes like the Catholic Church says that you were born in sin. You are attracted to the glitter. Reaching for glitter introduces naiveness, which eliminates the presence of the devil. There is a certain amount of innocence in the glitter. There is a certain amount of inquiry in the mind. Therefore, it is encoded in your genes to go off at a certain time to be infatuated by the glitter. It is enclosed in your genes to have a vivid imagination. Then after that, it is encoded in your genes to have a vague imagination. Why do I say vivid first and vague second? Because a child does know soylent, infamil, or soylent, it's like similar. Okay, infamil or prosobi from each other, and then the child knows the difference of artificial milk from his or her mother's milk. The child recognizes taste. It is able to make the decision. A child will reject synthetics, artificial things. First, the child is vivid. A child knows his or her parents. That is why when people other than the parents pick them up, the child begins to cry and rejects that person. A child has to be taught to become vague. Once the principle of vividness and vagueness manifests in the genes, will is born, willpower. So the willpower comes in from going from vivid to vague, possessing both, eating of the fruit, being taught there. So, and it's something funny when he mentioned that about the glitter. We were talking about a ninja assassin. And it's funny when you think about them movies, what do they always be in? All black. Right. Nothing shiny. It's just all black. Why that? Because they're black. And people's perception, they don't even see it. Right. If you think about this, we walk around now with black and gold. At first, we was in just all black. People don't see that. You gotta do like Eddie Murphy said on Dreamgirls. It's shiny, it's glittery, baby, it's me, baby. You gotta put something on there to make them stand up and they say, see some glitter over there, what's that? Yeah. Or even with your own holler or your own aura. When certain people can gravitate towards you, they are seeing that solar plexus in you light up and give off them colors. Right. To the point where they're attracted now to you, regardless of what you got on. They like, something just keeps drawing me to you. You know. And so, even with us raising our consciousness and those things, those are affecting, those emotional waves, those vibrational waves that we're sending off are what's going to either attract people or repel people. Because they say going back into understanding who and what we are, you know what I'm saying? We got to correct it. And the reason why I do this in there, just to understand it, if you put that, who and what you are, with the ego, you can start kind of pinpointing exactly where the ego starts coming in. You know what I'm saying? Within yourself. You know what I'm saying? And as we start looking at that and start cleaning the house, then we can be more effective and being more productive. Not just internal, but we can be more productive external. Information becomes out.
Things we don't know.
Well,
You know, back to what you were saying, I
Right.
was sitting there thinking, I was like, you know, that's true. Something we can get, like, the knowledge of good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
The knowledge can be taken to use good, or it can be taken to be used evil, right?
Right.
So we can get so big-headed sometimes, you know what I mean, and thinking we know everything when we don't know nothing, right?
We don't know nothing.
And we want to question every doggone thing instead of just watching and paying attention, you know, to the individual.
Right.
Don't question, because it will reveal itself later on if you just be patient. You follow what I'm saying?
But see, I'm gonna go along with that. But here's the thing. I'm just
you know what I mean?
going back to the story of Tahuti real quick, or Tahuti Moses. Why did Tahuti Moses, who was Ramesses, why did he even want to be a student of thought in the first place? Why?
I don't have that answer.
When thought told him, I have no beginning of days, no end of days.
Okay.
I'm an eternal being. Ramesses, or Ramos, wanted to be like, he wanted that same thing. He was like, how can I become eternal and not just have a time limit? And that's when Tahuti said, okay, fine, I'll let you be my student. And so Ramos sent Joshua back to camp, and he started following him. So here's the funny part when you really start dissecting this story. He asked for this, but he really didn't know what he was really asking for. And we say, be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. But in this case, message you say, I came giving you what you want.
Right.
So you will learn to want what I have to give.
Right.
Even when he first dropped, he first came out, he first started writing. We had the 9 bars. You know what I'm saying? This was the information back then in the 60s. Everything we covering now, it's 40, 50 years ago. And it's still relevant. It's funny as hell. You know what I'm saying? But the reality of it is, we weren't ready. So, he came giving us what we wanted. Well, he said we wanted Christianity, we wanted Judaism, we wanted Mohammedanism, we wanted Buddhism, we wanted Taoism, we wanted all these other all these wants we had. And the reason why he had to give us so by the time I give you all this information on this, and you can see this for what it is, now you should now mentally be like, oh, okay, well I burnt that desire out for that.
Right.
Oh, okay, man, I know the Bible backwards and forwards. Like, yeah, I'm tired of church. Move to the next, move to something else.
Right.
On the Hidden Light in Freemasonry, I think it was that CD. Is it the Hidden Light or Who Knows the Secret? Anyway, on that CD, he makes a point. He says, after you have done all your study and you've learned everything there is to know above and under the sun, he said, what's next? He said, then you're sitting there puzzled. He said, because then you don't know what else to do. You know everything. You know everything. Then that hand pulls you in, you start going inward. Now you start that spiritual journey, that real journey. You see what I'm saying? Then you start understanding who and what Ra really is. You see what I'm saying? And even right now, the whole thing is we should be making or working on that that journey, that leg of the journey. You know what I'm saying? Through meditation, proper breathing. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And they say, I'm not the poster boy for Wu-Nuwaup or for Wu-Sabat. I'm not that dude. I'm going to tell you that now. But it's a work in progress in that. And being real with myself, I understand I'm still working towards perfection. But that's my path.
Right.
Everybody has their own path. Like I said last week, we're all going to the same destination. It's just about how you want to get there.
Right.
Everybody taking a different way to get there. If we say right now, hey look, we finna go down to Island Park for a barbecue. Guess what? We got about 16 or 17 different ways we can get to the park. From here. Everybody can take off in totally different directions, but we'll all meet there. Now some people might get there before, some after. It doesn't matter. The point is, did you make it to the destination? That's all that matters. The point is, after all this is said, did you get what you needed to get out of it so that you can better yourself?
Right.
Take a good man and make him better. Take a good sister and make her better. That's it. We're not bettering nobody with this information, then we're just pissing in the damn wind. I'm just being honest with you. Go ahead.
With the statement that you just made, of what Doc said, I came giving you what you want, so you can earn what I want to have here. That would encompass a certain destination, right?
It would.
Right. So if we were given something as an alternate while we're traveling toward that destination, once those who reach the destination, there would be some type of indication that they made it to the destination.
Right.
At what point, through traveling toward that destination, would there be an outward
manifestation of something?
I hate to use the word manifestation,
Okay, you're right. Okay.
but
Yeah.
for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
what would be the outward manifestation in traveling to that destination, meaning that I have surpassed being given what we wanted, but now I have been open and receptive to receive that which he came to give. So there should be, I would think, some mechanism to exemplify that, hey, I've reached that destination. And in doing that, I should be exemplifying in my words, deeds, and actions, teachings, lifestyle, culture, that I've actually made it to that point.
Right.
But if I'm still exemplifying what he came to give,
Then I haven't arrived.
I haven't arrived. So at what point is the determination made, or can that determination be made, if there's still an outward reflection of, I'm giving you what you want? And for example, it's been 40 years.
Right.
And if I'm still dibble-dabbing in Christianity, I can't give you what you want. If I'm still dibble-dabbing in Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, all these different isms, if after 40 years, I'm still dibble-dabbling in that, and I'm not exemplifying what he actually came to give, like you broke up the 9-ball, that level of information.
Right.
So if I'm not enacting upon that, have I been a student in terms of what he really came to give? Have me personally, because it's something that each individual will have to ask themselves.
Right.
You know, and then, you know, of course, conglomerate of individuals will make a collective and say, okay, if this brother, their brother, only two brothers that made that journey, then they will be exemplifying that.
Right.
But other people still exemplifying Islam, Christianity or whatever after 40 years.
Yeah, you really have no
Right.
reason.
Right.
So my question is, I'm seeing as a whole, not really enough of exemplification across the board
Right.
that they actually made it. Because I'm
Right.
still seeing after 40 years, people jumping up, giving whole schools on Islam. And I understand that there is a need because there are new people coming in. But as a teacher, what should be said is, okay, there are schools within schools.
Right.
So you may come in the Hebrew school, you may come in the Islam school. Like when I talk, like I met a brother at work, and every break he got a book. He's, you know, he read books, you know, this Afrocentric books and stuff.
Gotcha.
So I asked him, I said, brother, I noticed every break, you know, you always read. And I said, you pretty cultural mind. He's like, yeah, it's okay. So a couple weeks went by, I didn't say anything to him. So I just started kind of asking him about different authors. Let me ask you something. I said, you're not familiar with the most supreme grand author of the world? He's like, who are you talking about? I said, hey, have you ever heard of Dr. Malachi Z. York? I'm not really sure. You said, Dr. Who? I said, Dr. Malachi Z. York. I'm not really sure. You ever heard of Wu-Nuwaup? You ever heard of Wu-Nuwaup? Well, the two coincide. You know, how you not able to connect the dots? He was like, well, I mean, I said, I'll tell you what, brother. Go online, you go to YouTube and type in Dr. Malachi Z. York. It's going to be a whole bunch of videos and stuff come up. So anyway, so I told him, I said, look, there are schools within schools. I said, number one, you're gonna read and hear about an alleged incarceration. I said, I'm not telling you to not check into it, but I'm saying don't take that to stop. There's a whole lot going on with that. I said, just stick to the script of the doctrine. Okay? Right. Learn and educate yourself on that. I said, however, keep in mind that these are various schools. I said, but there is a end. These are just vehicles to get to end.
Right.
So I would let him know is that there is a school, a destination, what most people will refer to as noon,
right.
or N-U-N. I said, I can't give you what you want, noon science,
right.
but I had to give you what you wanted, Christianity. So when we are coming across people, we should be letting them know that, hey, these are various schools, but this is the end result. I'm not seeing it across the board. People still out here teaching Islam and this and that other, like that's the final destination. No. Are you trying to, in my mind, when I see that, my mind is, are you trying to withhold people from what it really is? Because if you are really a student of the master and you really know what he came to teach, then you should be saying, this is where it's at. Yeah. Why you ain't emphasizing where it's at? I'm still teaching all this remedial stuff, and that's good because, again, being a good teacher means when I meet you, I get to meet you where you are.
Exactly.
But I see where you are, but this is where you trying to get to. I'm not going to hide that from you. And I'm seeing a lot of people ain't just really telling people what the destination is. So yes, we got to be more vocal about when Doc said, I can't give you what you want, so you learn to want what I had to give, what he came to give, what's the high supreme science.
Right.
We ain't emphasizing that. You know, we still want to get people the lesson because I know some people's all about control. We want to spoon feed so, you know, I can get a nickel and dime out you to, you know, advance my lifestyle.
But
I don't see that down here. I'm not saying that, but I do see that a lot in other places because it's all about a hustle.
Right.
So I know why they ain't talking about, you know, noon science. You know what I'm saying? Then you got this one group who is talking about noon science, but they coming from a total different place with that. You know, I tell anybody, the school of Wu-Nuwaup came out of noon science.
Right.
You know, this is point blank. You know, and anybody who is really understanding or overstanding, really listening to Doc, and you really understand when he says, I can't give you what you want, so you learn what I really came to get. Because he said in Matthew 6:7, I taught noon science, but I had to pull it back. He said that. So why we not emphasizing
He said we weren't ready for it at the
time.
time.
We're right. But when we going to be ready is 40 years. So if you're really practicing and you really adhere to the principles,
Right.
after 40 years, you should be, if not ready, close to it.
But see now that,
And I'm talking about myself too.
I'm gonna say this on that. You see, like after 40 years, you know how when him teaching the supreme mathematics, you know, every number carries a certain thing. Like I said,
Right.
even when you go to the 40 or the 400, that's a certain cycle within itself.
It is.
So if it took 40 years for us to start burning out still, then she, but he did, you are Egyptians, you are gods. He said, people are still asking these questions, he said, there should have been masters in all these schools, grandmasters in all these schools. So y'all ain't coming to me with these questions. They should be able to answer this. When he put out the degree of Christ, the degree of Mohammedanism, you know what I'm saying, the degree of Mosesism, I think it never came out. Or if it did, it came out, we just wasn't aware of it, or certain people got it. But them books, they'll cover everything. They got like the 360 questions, the whole God series. I mean, it got everything in one book. So there's no way that you stuck on that school. All the answers are in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think what it is, and this is the reason why I asked that still like last night about asking like, where are we strong in? Still brushing up, because yeah, if we're gonna go out, we know that the majority of people in this city, they own Christ. Right. They in Christianity. But at the same time, I'm not trying to dedicate a whole class to talk about Christ, because if you're still keeping up with the doctrine, keeping up with any of the books, like he just did in the mind, he's giving you the Bible verses, the Quranic verses,
right.
But if you're looking past those, even through the whole tablets in there. So if you're compiling all that, you're automatically expanding their awareness anyway.
Right.
If you're teaching it right.
But the whole goal is these schools are vehicles.
Right, they're vehicles.
We all have rode a tricycle with training wheels on it, right?
That's right.
So you get older, you go from a tricycle to a bicycle, to a 10-speed, 12-speed, or whatever, to a car.
Right.
So you don't keep getting on the, you 50 years old, but you still jump on a tricycle. Come on now, so it's the same thing with the different schools.
Right.
So we don't keep, I mean, at what point do we get off the tricycle and, and get to the car? At what point do we do that? We in the late day, and I'm still seeing too many 30, 40, 50-year-olds still riding tricycles and still pumping the tricycle doctor to other people. So here's the thing, Doc can't hear on science. He came in 67, he taught it, he had to pull back. We had on all black, and then he switched to the white, so we overstand that. So we don't understand that. We don't understand why he pulled back. We don't understand what he came to teach. Then just sit down somewhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? But too many elders, man, they playing games.
I'm gonna say this real quick. If you're right exact, if you follow his teachings, you will see that, like you were saying. And everything he teaches, he's running all the schools in tandem through the teachings. So that way, no matter which school of thought that you were in, he's gonna say something. He's gonna be like, "What is that word? Where did that come from?" Now that's a Sumerian word. That's a Chaldean word. This is see now it's so you whatever. If you say you are in Christianity or you are in Islam or Muhammadanism, okay, he comes out. He says like surah, and he's like, okay, surah. But he says sahur. You know what I'm saying? That means picture. What language does that mean picture in? He said, okay, well, that's in Egyptian, or that's what a surah is, a picture. So now he's automatically taking you into another school of thought. But you see what I'm saying? So and that's the way he's always taught us. If you actually sit down and listen and read, he's giving you multiple references at the same time. So that way you can always kind of refer back to a point, and you can start seeing that whole circle from different angles. Because you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you see it that way, you see it that way, you start seeing it that way, and this way. And you can keep dividing these things is all full of, then you will have the complete understanding exactly of what it is. But you're absolutely right. And that's the thing, that's one of the things about it too, with us here. We're not trying to, and like I said, I understand we got people that are coming in that are new. But at the same time, we can't devote a lot of time to staying in the lesser degrees. We can run through them just to brush people up on them, but that'll be based on a case-by-case basis. And the thing is, we just have to be real with somebody come and ask us something, and we don't know it right offhand. Don't just sit there and try to. Now, I've seen niggas just give a straight up bullshit ass answer to try to make themselves look good, like they know what they talking about. Somebody asked them a question and they did not answer the question. I'm sitting here like, dude, you should have passed. I was sitting over in the wings. I know that. I know the answer to that.
Right.
I might not know all the other shit you talk about. Nigga, that one question, I knew that answer.
Right.
You could have gave me that, I would have shut him up.
Right.
That's what we got to do, though. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Right.
That's what we have to do. We have to be like, hey, you know what? That's a damn good question. I tell you what. Let me get your phone number, dude. I'm gonna call you like tomorrow, and I'm gonna go find this answer for you. And I know I remember it, but I don't want to tell you wrong.
Right.
Keep that ego in check.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Because if we don't keep that ego in check, we won't be able to properly give out the information. And now we see how this time back in.
Right.
We won't make it to our destination because we're gonna stop ourselves.
Right.
But that's important though. Going back to something the message always said. He said, don't look at how I'm using this information. Right? It's better me. You gotta do you.
Right.
So if we too busy worrying and watching what the fuck somebody else doing, you obviously ain't doing what you supposed to be doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if we start taking the information that we do have, start working it, start applying it, that's how everything will start in manifestation.
Man, we
That's how the
word
words
place there.
Yeah, you gotta find the word. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find our word and then start using our word.
Immediate front of.
I'm gonna find our word and use that. But that's what we gotta do. We gotta start taking. One of the last CDs he actually put out when he was free, he was saying, he said, now we don't have time. He said, you gotta take all this information I've given you over the years. And he said, take it all, bottle it up, and go out there. He said, defend some Christ. That's his exact words, because we was in the school of Egyptian Church Correct. He put that, yeah. He said, go out here. He said, take all this information I've told you over the years and go defend basically the Messiah, or the Messiah, the Messiah. Because we know that that's still a real entity. And ours is just not Jesus Christ. We know that. You know what I'm saying? We know that. So, assimilating and us using and bringing to the table our strengths, we will automatically cover whatever weaknesses we got, because somebody is there that has the remedy or has more information that we can build on to make our weaknesses become strengths. Talk about the science of alchemy. You know what I'm saying? Changing one thing from one form to another. Y'all was talking about that earlier. Transmutation. You know what I'm saying? And I was finna say bow tie. If you know the symbol of the bow tie, then you know what I'm talking about. And that's that whole science in that one symbol. Right. To be honest. You should say that figure 8. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So we have to start applying as best and as best possible that we can what we have. But that's an individual thing. So that when we do come as a collective together, now whatever, just like we said, and the sons of God was sitting there, and then the devil walked up, he was like, wait, hold up. They was getting ready to do something, and he walked up, hey, what you been doing? I was just walking to and fro, seeking who I can just fuck up. And so the message explained that. He said, so whatever that they were planning on getting ready to do, they didn't get done because the damn devil came up there and disrupted the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be wise enough, but we also must be more in tune with ourselves to know, hey, well, we got this to do. Hey, I gave this brother my word. I'm going to do this.
Right.
I like, let's go back to Scarface. I got my balls and my word. I'm not breaking neither one of them from nobody. Since we like all these gangster references. You know what I'm saying? But some of that stuff actually does have validity. We also must make sure we are doing our due diligence and doing what the message said, which is don't believe him, check it out.
That's right.
And I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that, because there's a lot of people that's in the quote-unquote conscious community. And sometimes you can look at them, or you can listen to them. They have a specific field down pat. I'm talking about, like I said, I was telling you about the brothers, the ACE, the electrical side. They got how the shin, the Z. They broke all of that science down mathematically from an electrical standpoint to the point where and it's dope as hell. I'm saying it like, it make a lot of sense.
Right.
But see, they actually took it to the next level.
Right. So
now when I'm putting that information, even with the master's information, like, okay, now I can see this and this and this. When I go back and look at the city, they had this pillar here, this pillar here, big ass generator. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So But that's because they stepped out and whatever they was gravitating to, which obviously was energy, they came across their science and they actually started expounding on to the point where they are now teaching that science. You see what I'm saying? So we have to figure out what it is that we are best at. Whatever our tone is, whatever the thing that vibrates, resonates with us the most, and go on master it. I keep saying this all the time. There are 99 deities, right? That's 99 different positions. Everybody ain't gonna do the same thing. Now you might have a position that does have a counterpart because you need two people to do that position effectively. You know what I'm saying? To get both perspectives, both sides of a thing. But most of the deities, they move singular. But they each have their own, they mastered their own particular thing. But you put them all together, they all still on the Wu-Sabat. They all on the Memphians together. Because everybody knows their role and plays their part. That's what we got to do. That's it. So when you go back to the whole text, the message talked about how do you know a great teacher? It's not about how many students that he had. It's not about how well his students can repeat his doctrine. The way you know a great teacher is how well the students adhere and live that doctrine. Because you'll see that teacher in them.
That's right.
That's how you know a great teacher. Simple as that. So you got a lot of people that might be out there and they look the part, but you get to talking to them and they like, you find out when you get to talking to them, they ain't hitting no shit. Like, bro, you ain't even understand the simple thing of care. You really don't care. You on that hustle, as they say. They on that hustle. Like, shit, I'm trying to slide these books. Okay, fuck that. Why don't you become the book? In church, we got a thing where we say, you know, they say, you might be the only Bible somebody ever reads. Because you exemplifying what that book is.
Right.
So instead of just sitting up here trying to read this to you and trying to teach you from that angle, what leads the heart reaches the heart. So if that's the case, let me show you through my example, through my actions. Let me be this for you. Because remember, the only way we the way that we get people to the information is through our action. It's called the law of attraction. We attract them. Otherwise, you can promote all day, and they'll come on you. They get tired of seeing you at the store all day. They go, I'm gonna buy the books and leave me the fuck alone. But when you are actually operating and being operative in what you're doing, and you really mean it, they want to be there all this. Man, look, I know I gotta be at work, dude, but look, man, can you please, look, can you answer this question for me real quick, man? I'm trying to, and you said, okay, you got a book on it, but look here. Just take a picture of it. I know you gotta go. Just take a picture of the page and then read it and come back tomorrow. See what I'm saying? Yeah. And the last thing I'm gonna give you is, because I remember you told this on one of the old True Light tapes, and this is for real. I felt the same way. He was like, that war that goes on inside, everyone has that war. You know what I'm saying? He said, your soul is pulling you toward the tabernacle. Toward the tabernacle. Your body is pulling you away. He said, you get to talking to the brothers, and next thing you know, you sitting there, and you're like, man, look, I gotta be at work for 30 minutes, man. You still sit up building, man, damn shit, 15 minutes later. Go ahead, man. You're gonna finish this, man. I'm gonna call him. Next thing you know, it's coming up on your lunchtime. It's 3 hours in. You still talking to the brothers. That's the attraction. But see, at the same time, that's them sparking your mind for real. And they have the answers that you're looking for. And then after you get to watching, they like, damn, I want to be like that. But man, that brother there, he walk, he talk, he do this shit. But right now,